We've come to the end of opening service of this year's synod, the sixth synod. We want to know what informed the theme of the synod for this year.
Well, this is the second session of the sixth synod of the diocese, and there's one more session to go. So for every synod, there are 3 sessions. And last year, the first session of the sixth synod, we considered baptism and then the children, Sunday school. And basically, the importance of the theme is that this year we look at confirmation, we look at youth, and we are looking at the Eucharist. So basically, what it is that within the church, we say that in these rites or sacraments, starting with baptism, that it's like a rite of passage. A rite of passage meaning that a young person, a child, or even an adult comes into the church with baptism. Then within our context, the next stage is confirmation, and then also Holy Communion. So this theme of confirmation, the youth, the Eucharist, is a follow-up on that of last year, which was baptism and the Sunday school, children and the Sunday school. Those rites of passage, bringing a child into the church by baptism, and then nurturing that child through the Sunday school. And by that, last year, we tried to talk to parishes, encourage them to make sure that Sunday school children are properly looked after. Because for me, the most important part of our church, I know all of you here are youth, but I think more than the youth, the children. Look at it like a foundation. The children's stage, Sunday school. Even those of you who leave the church and go to other churches, what the other churches are benefiting from is the foundation that has been laid before in the Sunday school. So if we invest in the Sunday school, the chances are that when those children in the Sunday school start to have the options of when they are youths going to school and all that, they will still remain part of the Anglican Church. Even though at that point in time, they can still go to other churches by virtue of maybe they go to university and all that. So this year, it's a continuation of that. That the next stage in that rite of passage is confirmation, the youth stage, and then after confirmation, of course, you are going to come forward to the altar to receive the Eucharist, the body and blood of Christ. And you know, this theme also talks about sustenance for the journey ahead. So it is at the altar that we are spiritually fed for that journey till when we enter into the promised rest that remaineth for the people. So that journey is our spiritual journey that begins, first of all, at baptism and then continues till the day we see Christ face to face. So that's what it is.
What you said now, it's important, very, very important that every youth, at least from confirmation age, must partake in the Holy Eucharist. It might not be must, but
yeah, exactly. It's the okay. Look at the analogy of Jesus where we took it from St. John's Gospel chapter 6. Look at the analogy of Jesus. It says, your father in the wilderness ate manna and they died. But this is the true bread that comes down from heaven. If you eat of me, I will be with you. You will have life. So that is the analogy of the sustenance for the journey for the journey. So it is not in a way must, capital M-U-S-T. For instance, in the Anglican Church before, in the Catholic, you are encouraged, in the 1662, you are encouraged to receive communion at least 4 times a year, of which Easter is one. But we say nowadays that as often, because you say as often as you can, as often as you do this in remembrance of me. So it's an encouragement for everybody to participate fully in the life of the church, not only physically but also spiritually, because there's a spiritual dimension to what we are doing. And the bishop, when he was preaching, mentioned that aspect of it. So that is part of it.
Okay, from what you said concerning our children in the university, especially the youth, what are we doing to keep them moving especially in the doctrine of Anglican communion?
Well, it's a bit difficult in the sense that that question you're asking is difficult. And that is why it's important for me. I will consider myself a conservative Anglican. So for me, the doctrines of our church are very important. But I think that because a lot of people within the Anglican Church have participated in various different Christian denominations, our doctrines are being, what's the word? We are being pulled. You know, if I ask you certain questions now, I guess you might answer it in a way that maybe a Pentecostal church will give the answer a Pentecostal church will give. You see it as spirituality. I say, hey, spirituality, but it is not Anglican understanding. You know, so if we ground our children well in the Sunday school, and that is why we talked about the Sunday school children, it's not okay, yes, a teacher is teaching them, but if that teacher belongs to a fellowship somewhere, the teacher is going to be teaching those children what is not Anglican. So what we are doing in the Sunday school is we are preparing those children to go out of the church. And at youth stage, we are just running after you. By that time, it's too late. That is my own honest opinion. I go to churches, I see those teaching them, I listen to them, and I say, look, you know, so for instance, many years ago, I used to say, if you bring up these children on choruses, a lot of these children, you bring them on choruses, it's very easy. You say that, but then you bring these children into the main church and tell them to sing Church Hymn Now 440. They will, this is so unspiritual because they are singing from a hymn book. Dying forever, may thy face upon us shine. They don't see the prayer. But the mere fact that they're singing from a hymn book, they say it's not spiritual. Because you have brought them up on choruses. You know, so that is where the problem lies. And for the youths, we have the ASF, the Anglican Students Fellowship, by which, in this diocese, for instance, a church like BAHM goes out every Sunday to pick up children from youths from universities or maybe Yaba College of Technology and all that, and they bring them to BAHM, they worship. So we interact with youth that way. Those who participate in the Anglican Students Fellowship, they have that opportunity to participate in the life of the church even while they're at university. Okay.
That's very nice. What again will you expect? What are your expectations in the life of the church after the Synod?
But one of the things is that, first of all, we will have a deeper appreciation of what we have. You know, sometimes it is easier to look at other people's own and say that their own is better and you enjoy it. But I believe that if we are preparing children, for instance, young people for confirmation, and they know the seriousness or what is possible to get in it, so it's not just impacting brain knowledge, for instance, but also preparing the children to receive something even when they come forward for confirmation. So there's that spiritual, it's all spiritual anyway, and there's a little bit of academic something because there are certain things they must know about the church. There are certain catechisms, there are certain teachings. They must be able to recite the creed. They must be able to know the Lord's Prayer. And that is why when I go to confirmation services, I don't prepare a sermon. What I preach depends on what answers they give me. I always ask questions to find out what they know, and what they know now leads me in the way I go when I have to engage with them, because the best way of teaching is what they will call the dialectical method. That is by question and answer. You know, so I think what we expect from the Synod is that there will first of all be a better appreciation of what our traditions are in the Anglican Church. And so, for instance, also when we talk about the Eucharist, you know, one thing that disheartens me is that people are coming for communion to meet at the altar and all that, and they are greeting themselves, playing with themselves and all that kind of thing. So I begin to wonder, what are we doing? What are we doing that people don't understand, seem to understand? Then a lot of young people, even adults, they have not participated in the service. They've missed the readings, they've missed the confession, they've missed the absolution, they've missed the sermon, and they are coming for communion rushing. Where it concerns the youth is that when we have youth services and the children and the youths in the youth services are up there, and it's time for communion, then they bring them in to come and receive without preparing. It's wrong. So we must at this synod find a way. If it is that a priest will go there and prepare them, whatever service they are doing is a mirror of what is happening in the main church. So when it is time to come for communion, then they can say, okay, come and participate in communion because you have been prepared to receive. Or maybe on the day of communion, if it's a parish that has communion once a Sunday, then that means that it will be a family worship where everybody participates. It's better. When we were children in the Sunday school, we used to lead, when it's Mothering Sunday, the Sunday school used to lead the service together with the priests. It's the Sunday school that we lead, the first boy, first girl, we say the prayers, we say the call to worship. But now, Mothering Day services, the women want to celebrate themselves. That is not it. The theology of Mother's Day service is for the children to say thank you to the mothers, not for mothers to celebrate themselves. It's so lopsided. And it's yeah, and you have included, what's the religious thing? You have used it for fundraising. So it defeats the purpose of the exercise.
When they are allowed to participate.
Yeah, when the children participate. See, as a young child, I participated. I was in the choir, but also in the Sunday school. You will lead services, and at a point in time, you will start the service. Then the priest will take over. Then you will come again, you will lead. We had first boy, first girl, second boy, second girl, and the service was divided. And you will do your own part, another person will do it, the priest will do his own part. Then you will know that even that Sunday school, that is your main church. You are not afraid to enter there. So that the process, the rites of passage from the Sunday school into the main church is not difficult. But when you keep the Sunday school there, you give them youth church there, when it is time to come enter to the main church, I'm sorry. They won't even enter because they think that is a citizen of sin and on spirituality. That's the problem.
Thank you so much, sir.
So it's very, very important to be prepared.
Yeah, exactly. Preparation. Part of the preparation is bringing the children in regularly into the main church. Then understanding who the teachers are. What are those teachers teaching them?
So coming to the secular world, how do you see 2023?
I don't.
Election.
How do I see? How do I see? It has come, it has gone. Not all of it was pleasant, but that is how we are in Nigeria. It's unfortunate, but let us thank God that we are not shooting ourselves and chasing after ourselves.
Okay, so what's the advice to the incoming administrators, both levels, state and federal, and Nigerians and Christians? At state level, let me first of all congratulate Governor Sanwo-Olu on his re-election and the opportunity of second term, and to consolidate on the gains that he has made. And truly, he has tried in the infrastructural developmental programs, also in various areas, medicine, hospitals, refurbishment of hospitals, refurbishment of schools. He's done quite a bit, and we congratulate him for that. And now we know that he has the opportunity to consolidate on those gains. When you talk about at the federal level, I don't know. Many people have asked me what is the most important thing for the federal government when they come in. Well, I think when I look at it, I'm not a politician or economist, but the little bit I know is that if it is possible, at all possible, that the issue of power supply is resolved once and for all, then, let's say the most important is power supply, and B, that is A. B, still on number one, there's A and B. Number B would be security. Security in the nation is improved. And the two go together, because if there is power supply, first of all, we are buying diesel now. Luckily, it has come down. At a point in time, we are buying diesel at over 800 naira per liter. If you are manufacturing something at 800 naira per liter, how much are you going to sell it? So the inflationary pressure alone on the cost of diesel, on the cost of doing business, is too high. If the power supply issue is resolved, then there's no need for diesel, there's no need for generators. Industry doesn't have to run on 24/7 generators and stuff like that. The artisan on the streets, in those days when we were young, there were a lot of welders on the street. Now, who can weld now when there's no power supply?
So that leads to insecurity because people feel they have to feed themselves and they get enticed into all kinds of things. So that's where security comes in as well. Because if people are gainfully employed, there will be less inclination towards crime. So for me, the most important thing is power supply. I bought diesel twice in the last 2 days, 670 naira per liter. And it's a lot of money. And if you are running a business on it, how much are you going to sell the products that you are selling to people? It doesn't work. So power supply, number one. Okay?
The C part of it and the D part of it is the advice to the incoming administration
Advise them what?
Nigerian Christians.
No, what am I going to? I mean, for instance, at the state level, it's to the state level is to continue the good work. In a way, let me say that in a way, of course, you are asking me, and in a way, I'm part of the state level because by God's grace, through the instrumentality of the governor of Lagos State, and I'm the chairman of the Lagos State Pilgrims Welfare Board. So and there again, I have the opportunity of seeing the difficulties, the challenges, and we thank God that he is able to, because of his many years of experience, he's able to pilot the ship of Lagos State. He's been able to do so very well. There were challenges. There were challenges with the NSAS process. There were also challenges with COVID. But he managed that very well. And so we say, well, by God's grace, all will continue to go well. And he should continue to do the good job and get close to the grassroots to know really where the shoe is pinching the people. At the federal level, again, security. Security, that's it. And power supply. Everything else will fall into place.
You've said it all. Just
not all. I'm
to
sure
advise
that
Nigerians and the Christians especially, because
many
Christians are falling out of faith because of what they are facing. How can they fall out of faith because of what they are facing? It's like when you know, the Bible doesn't support that. The Bible doesn't support that. What would the first early Christians do when they were being thrown to the lions? And they said, this blood of the martyrs is the seed of the church. When it was a case of deny Christ, or we throw you to the lions, deny Christ, or we tie you to the stake. Christians have gone through greater persecutions. Look at you down south here. We've just had a service. Everybody was singing lustily. When they say, let us pray, we close our eyes. In southern Kaduna, can they do that? What they are suffering in southern Kaduna, what they are suffering in other parts of this country. Down south, we are still, so anybody down south who says what they are facing is what... Down south,
okay.
Christians generally.
Yeah, our faith teaches us to continue to trust God. And if you are going to ask me what advice would I give, is we continue to work hard. In GAFCON now, that is our fellowship outside of Lambeth Conference for the Anglican Communion, we talk about the faith gospel. The faith gospel is expect your miracle tomorrow, expect this tomorrow, don't work hard, you do this, sow this seed. God don't work like that. That's why we've lost the virtues of hard work, studying hard at school to make sure that you can get good employment. We've lost all of that. I was in a particular parish in Lagos Island many years ago, and you see even parents helping their children to cheat at exams, selling question papers. Now, such a child who has cheated his way through school now becomes a doctor or a surgeon, and he's just doing a simple procedure and the person dies. Or they are building house, somebody who has cheated all his way through school now designs a structural thing for a house, and the house collapses. The whole thing is collapsing around us because corruption has eaten into the fabric of society. Everything, there's a shortcut for everything. And when the pastors are preaching to you that God will do everything, God does not do for us what we can do for ourselves. So there must be hard work. not the Yahoo, do this one, go this one, do this one quick and all that. So we've lost that sense of work hard and, struggle and then reap your reward. Everybody wants a shortcut, sharp. Even at the traffic lights, we don't want to stop. We are in a hurry to make money, regardless of where the money comes from.
Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you very much.
It's good, nice, wonderful being with you this evening.
Thank you very much, ma. We are grateful. And thank you for this covering the synod for us.